Hello! My last video was a general overview of the planet of Briskillanya, and I suggest you watch that video if you have not already. This video will not make much sense if you don't. That's all I really have to say now. Last time I mentioned and discussed the 3 most powerful countries on Briskillanya, but the other 12 are still deserving of attention. They each have their own cultures, histories, politics, etc. I will go over these countries in rough geographical order. Heldar, Exin, Einius, Wemvar, Trabina, Ezertax, Riveta, Isotinab, Vinkla, Fiorra, Psadin, and Anpai. Heldar is an absolute monarchy located directly north of Inyenton. It is culturally and linguistically related to Inyenton, but the two nations strongly hate one another, with Inyenton desiring much of Heldar's territory. Despite the fact that Heldar has a tendency to discriminate against ethnic Inyentonians, is highly misogynist, and is authoritarian, nearly as authoritarian as Inyenton itself, it is loosely allied with Wemvar and Verica due to their common hatred of Inyenton, though friction does exist between them. Exin is a strange country. Since it won its independence from the Vericachian Empire roughly 150 years ago, it has had 4 civil wars fought between the democratic government and the various ideologically extreme factions in the country's western half, which often also fought each other, creating multi-sided wars. These factions still exist as political parties that get significant amounts of aid from Inyenton. Because of Exin's cultural ties to Verica, democratic system of government, and long alliance with Einius, who helped Exin achieve independence, and is allied to the democratic powers. Einius is a democratic constitutional monarchy that is often considered to be Briskillanya's 4th most powerful country. It is the oldest continually existing country on the planet, having existed in one form or another for nearly 5,000 years. Einius has always been an ally of Wemvar and gave heavy assistance in taking down the old Vericachian regime, leading to it being an integral member of the democratic powers. Wemvar, or Wemvar for short, is a monarchist country lying in the Tashai region of Aberdeen. It has had one of the most eventful and turbulent histories of any country on the planet. For most of its history, it was a disjointed collection of tiny, squabbling countries, many no larger than a town that sometimes numbered in the hundreds. Around 300 years ago, Wemvar was composed of 6 countries that fought together after getting invaded by an outside group called the Kaishins. This is the main event that made the small states unite for protection from outside forces. Wemvar is still composed of 4 main highly autonomous nations, Wemtashia, Varia, Ithaca, and Bokie, and 2 smaller states, Ezertax and South Pennsylvania. Because of its strained relationship with Wemvar due to Wemvar's incompetence during the Vericachian-Wemvari War, anger at Verica for keeping Vericachian Tashai, and constantly being fed conspiracy theories about the democratic powers by Inyenton and Isotinab, it has been pressured into keeping an authoritarian system of government and being slightly aligned with Inyenton. Trabina is a democratic republic located in northern Aberdeen. It is not a particularly strong country, but its citizens enjoy one of the highest standards of living on the planet. Trabina used to be quite a bit larger, though it shrank over time. Many territories previously controlled by Trabina are still considered to be part of the Trabinan cultural group. Trabina is a good friend of Wemvar, making it a member of the democratic powers. Ezertax is by far the northernmost country on Briskillanya, lying even further north in the Ezertaxi Plateau. While its climate is borderline uninhabitable, it is a very progressive and tolerant country with a comparably high standard of living and an extremely democratic system of government. Due to its rather inconvenient geographical position, it does not really participate in the rest of the planet's political happenings. However, it is still friendly to many of the other countries, especially Trabina, whom Ezertax shares many cultural and linguistic ties with. Because of this, it is considered to be a member of the democratic powers. Riveta is another democratic republic in Aberdeen. It is closely tied with Trabina, having been part of Trabina until Riveta peacefully separated from Trabina with a referendum only about 100 years ago. In fact, the Rivetan and Trabinan languages are similar enough that they are essentially mutually intelligible. While not a large military or political power, it is still world-renowned as a scientific power, especially in the medical field. Riveta is a definite member of the democratic powers. Isotinab is a dictatorial, absolute monarchy that owns the islands within a Brazilian bay. In terms of area, Isotinab is by far the planet's smallest country, and it attempts to compensate for this by being fanatically ultranationalistic and having an aggressive foreign policy that hates every country in its direct vicinity. Due to Isotinab's nature as an archipelago, it is a major naval power. Before Isotinab was Isotinab, it was called Isotia, until it conquered the other islands of the region and gave its name to suffix "inab", literally meaning the king. Because of Isotinab's aggressive and dictatorial behavior, it is a natural ally of Inyenton. Some would say Inyenton's only true ally. Vinkla is another democratic country, this time being located in the eastern part of Aberdeen. It is a member of the Libalian cultural group, being a longtime ally of Libal and speaking a language very similar to Libalian. However, it is also very close to the Trabinian cultural group, being a frequent trade partner and a place where many Trabinian customs spread into. It is also known for being a very progressive country, nearly as much so as Ezertax. Vinkla is, of course, a member of the democratic powers. Fiorra is yet another democratic republic, also in the Libalian cultural group. Fiorra has the distinction of being the world's youngest country, only having left Libal via referendum about 40 years ago. Fiorra does not have its own language. Fiorrans mainly speak a unique dialect of Libalian. Once again, it is an ally to the democratic countries. Psadin is a democratic constitutional monarchy that makes up the far western parts of the Pydini continent. Despite the name, Psadinis only make up approximately 30% of the country's population, as the rest is composed of many smaller ethnic groups, mainly the Sihians, Rahalites, Delnikians, Kahobis, and Yanakis. Psadin has a unique system of monarchy. The country has 6 monarchs at any given time, one for each main ethnic group/province, but one is chosen by the others to be the primary monarch. However, none of them have any significant power. Most political decisions are done through the Psadini democracy. Psadin is allied with Libal. Finally, Anpai is a republican dictatorship in southern Pydin. It is generally considered to be the single weakest country on the whole planet. Anpai is notorious for its incessant string of weak and incompetent leaders, constantly changing government types, frequent civil wars, and one-sided rivalry with Psadin. Many Anpaians who make enough money to leave the country often do, leading to a large diaspora of ethnic Anpaians living across the planet. The current Anpaian government only really stays in control due to help from Inyanton, making Anpai what some have called an Inyantonian puppet state. That is every sovereign country on the planet. I hope that you enjoyed. I would appreciate it if you told me how you thought of this episode, and tell me what would you like the next episode to be about. Goodbye.